Coming up in the news, the Prime Minister says investor confidence on Grand Bahama has waned. Also, local government winners sworn in today in East Grand Bahama. And thick plumes of smoke forcing one school to close early. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shoshana Rolf-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news, the question tonight: has the second city lost its magic? Well, that question coming after the nation's leader himself expressed concern that investor confidence on Grand Bahama appears to be waning. His comments were made yesterday during a press conference at the office of the Prime Minister here on Grand Bahama. But as we hear in this report, the Prime Minister assures that his government is working to turn that around.
There are a lot of funding out in the world, particularly for climate change, for medical matters. Particularly after COVID, there's quite an appetite to assist jurisdictions such as ours, a small island developing state, and to navigate through all the
Coming up in the news, the Prime Minister says investor confidence on Grand Bahama has waned. Also, local government winners sworn in today in East Grand Bahama. And thick plumes of smoke forcing one school to close early. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shoshana Rolf-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news, the question tonight: has the second city lost its magic? Well, that question coming after the nation's leader himself expressed concern that investor confidence on Grand Bahama appears to be waning. His comments were made yesterday during a press conference at the office of the Prime Minister here on Grand Bahama. Now, as we hear in this report, the Prime Minister assures that his government is working to turn that around.
Really, the interest in the Bahamas today has really grown and continues to grow. But for Grand Bahama, there's always this sort of question mark.
It was that statement by the nation's leader that may have been an eye-opener for many. But the island of Grand Bahama has been without significant major investments now for years. That, coupled with Hurricane Dorian and the global pandemic, the island's economy continues to struggle and unemployment remains in the double digits.
They are willing to invest in the Bahamas, a lot of investors, right? Yes, they may wish to come to Grand Bahama, but there's always some reluctance on their part. I had a conversation in Dubai, for example, a person who even came to Grand Bahama and looked at projects, and it just, their desire to invest just withered because it was just something that just didn't connect for them.
Prime Minister Davis says he has been in conversation with potential investors in Dubai and is hopeful that there may be something to cause them to reconnect to Grand Bahama. But he says his government is committed to revitalizing this island.
We are working on how we could restore fully the confidence investors to invest in.
Many have questioned whether the time has come for Grand Bahama to just focus on the industrial sector and not tourism. But the Prime Minister believes that this island has the ability to tap into tourism, the industrial sector, agriculture, and technology.
So I would not just put my eggs in one basket and say, let's make it a totally tourism destination, or just make it an industrial park, or just make it a tech hub, for example, which is one of the industries that we're looking at to coming here because of the emerging markets of technology.
And he remains adamant that all is not lost, as there are some plans in the work for this island.
We are finding our sea legs, if you know what that means, and I'll be back soon because there are some things on the drawing board for Grand Bahama that might require me being here very soon and very quickly.
Prime Minister Davis adding that the government still intends to break ground for a new hospital in Grand Bahama by June, while noting that there is high investor interest when it comes to the Grand Lucayan Resort. Meantime, the nation's leader also had an opportunity to visit Abaco and view the progress of recovery there since Hurricane Dorian. While he adds that he is not pleased with the pace of recovery, he says the government's intent is to access funding to assist the islands ravaged by the storm.
There are a lot of funding out in the world, particularly for climate change, for medical matters, particularly after COVID. There's quite an appetite to assist jurisdictions such as ours, a small island developing state, and to navigate through the maze to get to it. We need some assistance, and so All in the Night was identified as someone that could do it. That's being done. In fact, a corporate citizen is going to pay for that for us, to which I want to say, I want to thank them publicly, but they want to remain anonymous for the time being. We expect to see some results from that as well. That's why I'm confident that we'll be able to deliver in short order our promises.
Meantime, the nation's leader also making it clear that there is no plan to increase taxes.
No tax measures in the pipeline. As I would have said to agencies some time ago, my first job would be to see how we grow the economy. Any new taxes is a last resort in our agenda. We're not seeking to put any further burden on our Bahamian people. We think that our tax, that where we are now, with collections and enforcement, we ought to be able to take care of the services that we need to deliver and the promises that we have made to see them fulfilled.
The leaders of the Caribbean Women in Leadership organization visiting Grand Bahama to discuss the goals and objectives of the body. The organization holding a pinning ceremony recognizing a group of women for the role they continue to play in society. Jay Philippe has more.
Caribbean Women in Leadership, which is a flagship networking organization committed to advancing transformational leadership and increasing the number of women in leadership and decision-making in political and civic life, holding a pinning ceremony to recognize a number of extraordinary women on Grand Bahama. Keynote speaker, attorney Constant McDonald QC, encouraging the honorees to strengthen and increase their political participation and leadership in the country through advocacy, networking, research, and capacity building initiatives.
We have more in common than the differences that divide us. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. In many spheres of our society, the voice of the woman is silent. Don't get me wrong, as I said, we have come a long way. But when I look at Barbados, we're the three most powerful persons in that nation are women. I recognize that we have a lot of work to do.
According to Jules Edwards, CWIL seeks to encourage a development mechanism among women in decision making.
This is indeed the time where we need more women at the decision-making table. And so that's our call today in coming here on behalf of Caribbean Women in Leadership. And ours is an appeal to Grand Bahama that let's embrace excellence, where we don't just talk the talk, but we also walk the talk.
Indira Kinglock Archer, who's an active member of Caribbean Women in Leadership, sharing the significance of the women's program.
To me, CWIL is not a social club, but it is the inception of a powerful movement that will shift our nation's treatment of women.
The Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge and Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, was also on hand to receive her pin.
Women being honored here today are trailblazing uncharted territory by becoming the first women from Grand Bahama to be installed as members of this outstanding organization, which is comprised of a network of women who are united and dedicated to monitoring, strengthening, and increasing the political participation and leadership of women in the region through its advocacy, networking, research, and capacity building initiatives. This non-political, multi-partisan, independent, non-governmental organization has demonstrated its commitment to advocating social causes and tackling critical development issues in our region.
The non-government organization is welcoming additional aspiring leaders, including young women in leadership in areas such as politics, public life, civil society, and the private sector. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Jay. Well, newly elected local government practitioners in the East Grand Bahama District were officially sworn into office today during a ceremony in that district. The East Grand Bahama District is the first to swear in its members following the January 27th local government elections. Jamila Mizik was there.
12 local government practitioners in the East Grand Bahama District taking the oath of office during a swearing-in ceremony at the St. Nicholas Anglican Church in High Rock. Member of Parliament for the area, Kwesi Thompson, congratulating the newly elected members for making the commitment to serve, adding that politics is about service and they should always seek to make a difference.
When you get involved in your discussions and you see the challenges that you have to face, seek to make a difference. Look at the situation when you first came into your office. Look at your surroundings when you first came into your office. Look at the people when you first came into your office. And seek to leave that office better than you met it. Seek to make a positive difference in the lives of the people that you serve.
Thompson noting that serving is not an easy task, but those elected should always seek to do what is right.
You will not be able to please everyone. Don't seek to please everyone. Seek to do what is right. When you attempt to please everyone, you then take your eyes off of your purpose and your mission. So seek to do what is right. You knocked on the doors. You told the people that you were the best person for the job. You told the people that you could do the job. So now, do the work.
Now, after a brief deliberation between members, Reverend Marcus Cooper was then named as Chief Counselor and Daniel Bain Deputy Chief Counselor. Cooper thanking those in attendance for their support, adding that the council will do its best for the advancement of East Grand Bahama.
We cannot do the work alone, and we will make some mistakes. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But what we expect is we expect the community to come and support. We expect the community to come and give us constructive criticism. We are open to that. And more importantly, we want the community to be more engaged and more involved as we aim to take East Grand Bahama to the next level. We need to rebuild our heritage where we look out for one another and ensure that everyone is equally represented and everyone is treated in a fair manner, regardless of everything else.
Now, the East End District Council includes the communities from Freetown to McLeanstown in the east, as well as Matertown, Smiths Point, and Langtown. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, elections for the Grand Bahama Christian Council are set for tonight at 7 p.m. at Calvary Temple Church. Pastor Robert Lockhart has served as president for the last 2 terms and will not be seeking re-election. As he prepares to demit office, Pastor Lockhart took time out today to say thank you to the Grand Bahama community for their support and says he's now looking forward to the new leadership with great anticipation.
We'll wait to see what's going to take place between the ministers that will be offering themselves to serve as president, first, second, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and the other commission positions that we have. And so we're looking forward to a good meeting tonight. And at the end of tonight, we'll have our elections results. And so I would say by tomorrow, we'll know exactly who the next Grand Bahama Christian Council president is. I would just say that we're hoping that at the either first or second vice president position, which we haven't had for a long time, we're hoping that at least one of our women would fulfill one of those posts. And we have one of our women that are offering herself as one of the vice presidents. And so we're hoping that that works out. And because we also want to see our ladies move forward in leadership.
Lockhart noting that the council was able to achieve a lot over the years. However, he says that past 3 years were challenging, but with the help of partners, they were able to find solutions along the way.
The challenges that we faced were surprising challenges. Of course, I was elected in 2018, and as we got moving, the hurricane came in 2019, and that sort of changed the total direction that we probably would have been looked at going, and things we were expecting to deal with as the Grand Bahama Christian Council. So, of course, we went into assistance mood in being able to assist the community, and we were able to partner with Convoy of Hope and many other NGOs that came to the island, along with NEMA and with the government at the present time, and put our hands right to the wheel and got working with government agencies, with NEMA, with NGOs, from those that were helping with food, to repairing homes, to helping people with mold remediation and water. And so it was tremendous.
A bushfire forcing the closure of the Jack Hayward Senior High School today. Principal Brownwyn Smith confirming that the bushfire was just at the back of the campus and it was spreading quickly near the classrooms. She says education officials were contacted and a decision was made to dismiss school in the interest of safety for those students.
We knew it was blazing from last night and the night before in the area, and so we began to watch it, and first we felt okay because the direction of the wind seemed to be favorable at first and it was not blowing directly into our school. But as we observed it a bit, we saw that it started to change direction, and at that point in time we started to make tentative plans, touch bases with the bus drivers, touch bases with the lunch vendors and with my teachers, and to find out whoever had breathing problems like asthma and other difficulties, respiratory conditions. The tactical area was what's being affected first, so we moved them into this area.
Now, Smith adds that an evacuation procedure was mounted and students were directed towards an open field area. From there, they were directed to safety away from the blaze.
Persons were able to pick up students already because we had called ZNS and put some out on the social platform, so parents also can come and get their kids, and it went quite smoothly. We are thankful that no one got injured, so hopefully everyone who was an asthmatic is going to feel okay in the morning, and thank goodness we are on the hybrid platform, so if persons want to still get some work done, teachers can still put work up post them, and learning can still go on.
Stay with us, we'll be back in just a moment.